Hello everyone, how's it going? In this video, we're going to go over what is happening with Alibaba. The stock is down a little bit this morning, about 1.9%. There was a news that came out which is bringing the stock down. We'll go into that. We'll understand what is Ant Group. There are some setbacks and the profits sliding for Ant Group, then the other problems that they are probably going to be facing. Now, let's try to understand. This news came out where Chinese will reportedly break up Ant Group's Alipay and force the creation of new loan apps. So if you try to understand what Ant Group is, it's basically a combination of Alipay and its loan providing program. So Alipay, which was launched back in 2004, right now it has grown up to about 1 billion users, and it is very trustworthy in China. People prefer this for many of their financial and for banking purposes to make online payments on e-commerce website. And Alipay is basically the dominant feature here. Then Ant Group came out with this particular program where they provide loans to other people. And China wants to break Alipay out of this loan program and keep Alipay separate and the loan services separate. So we don't know how much of it is going to be. I mean, they're asking it to sell or be part of Alibaba itself. But let's try to understand what are the other setbacks. Now, Jack Ma's Ant Group to become a financial holding company under a Beijing enforced revamp. So if you again go back to this, Alibaba has, or Ant Group has, this loan providing program, and it's part of the Ant Group. Now, by converting it into a financial holding company, it will be treated as a bank, and bank comes with its own regulations, the amount of leverage they can provide, the amount of credit that they can provide to their customers, and that keeps a cap onto how much they can serve. Basically, Ant Group, or the e-commerce, the lending program, used to work with some other banks to provide their loans, that thereby not having so much leverage on their books. But by converting it into a financial holding, it'll have to report all those leverages on their financial books, thereby increasing the amount of leverage that they can provide, and hence keeping that cap to how much they can grow. Now, the profit sliding had come out. This was back in August 3rd, where Jack Ma's Ant sees the profit slide 37% after regulatory setback. And the Ant Group is also part of Alibaba. So the profits that shown over there will also affect the profit that will be reported by Alibaba. And this all started off again when the financial holdings, all these regulatory concerns came across. Even the IPO that was coming out last year, it was originally marked at about 259 billion. Right now it was undervalued, or it was broken down and set the valuation now to 144 or 150 billion. So almost half of its original value back in November of 2020. Now let's try to understand these other problems. If you read this article, this is not the first time that Alipay or Ant Group is under the concerns of the financial institutions or the Chinese regulators out there. This has been going on for quite some time. Back then, Yahoo and SoftBank had a major stake in Alibaba, or in the Alipay system. And the Chinese government did not like all these foreign companies holding as shareholders. So systems did not like owned by outside shareholders. So they wanted to bring that company under a Chinese holder. So they sold the company Alipay, and basically Jack Ma himself became one of the owners. He owns 10% or 13% of the company directly, and then about 50% through other channels, under his name, of course. But the majority is basically owned in China. So Yahoo and SoftBank, they filed and they basically complained about this, and because the Alipay transaction that happened was for a very small meager amount, and they did not like that because they were shareholders of it, and they were not even properly informed about the selling. So they filed, and then there was some settlement that happened between both of these. So this is not the first time that Alibaba or the Ant Group is into problems with the Chinese regulators. They have been going on and off around this. But this is where they were allowed to grow, they were allowed to prosper, but now their prosperity is brought into question, and try to understand how much of it is being created as a monopoly. And that's where all these Chinese regulations has coming through, and they're trying to keep a more closed app. They're also trying to create a joint credit scoring system where Ant Group initially used to provide their own credit systems, own credit scoring for the people, and that was again a monopolistic behavior where Ant Group had the control over the credit scoring system. But now it will be a joint venture where Alibaba or Ant Group will still have that control, but along with that, it'll be a state-owned entity who would be controlling that as well. So, found it interesting. Just wanted to share this with you. With that, take care, stay safe. Bye bye.